Obviously, you've got a book coming out, and congratulations, by the way. I was curious,
Thanks.
like, when did you decide it was time to write an autobiography?
Probably 4 years ago, I was giving a talk at a conference in Canada, and normally I talk about Quake, talk about Doom, talk about id Software's programming principles, that kind of stuff. And they said, you know what? We want to hear about your life before and during, but like, can you tell us what was it like who was this person who made these games? Where did you come from? What was your life like before you started programming games, and then like how does that feed into the game creation? So I told this I did this talk, and people were just like stunned because I basically was like, I grew up in the desert. There were scorpions and tarantulas and rattlesnakes. My family was selling drugs. They were getting murdered. We had no money. It was just all kinds of stuff they didn't expect. They were just like, whoa. And because they were surprised, it was just like, I should probably get that down somewhere, not just in a talk, but like
Mhm.
put it in a book where I'm talking about, and I'm at the same time, things happen at the same time when I'm thinking about things. Game history book, id Software game history. That is the de facto book to go to with every date in it, the name of everything, how things happen in development. That's really not out there anywhere. Like someone who worked on Doom, what was it like working on Doom when you're in the team of only five of us at the beginning?
Yeah.
And so it's just like, yeah, let's write that book, put all this stuff in the beginning about how I grew up, how we moved to Northern California, how I was exposed to computers, and everything that happened after that point. And also just like people want to know more about things that they haven't heard enough about. Like, I want to know what happened at Ion Storm, and what did you do after Ion Storm? In what about Black Room? So all that stuff.
Literally every single thing I just skipped over because I wanted to ask you, but again, time. Yeah.
And like I want to know everything about Black Sabbath, right? I want Martin. I think his name is Martin Popoff is the guy, right? He's like the number one chronicler of heavy metal. But it's like I would want to give people that are id fans or whatever. This is like all the information that they could know really about everything that happened during those years, and the business decisions that were made, the bad decisions that were made, and just the things that happened. I think one of the biggest things about the book is that it's a positive book. This is looking back, this is retrospective too. I'm looking back at a 20-year-old from 55, and just like this is this is why we made these decisions. Would have made a totally different decision if I knew what I did now, but we were kids, and so this is how things went. But just the fact that people want to get the book, I'm really honored that people want to read about our games, my past, and I think what comes across in the book that people that I think is great, just like the same thing that it's almost like modding, where people they can be creative, right? In this book, I feel when people read this book that they're going to feel that they could do the same thing that I did, because there's nothing in there that's magic. It's like I came from nothing, and I just focused on stuff and worked, especially because I'm indigenous, Latino. There were no computers where I was growing up, no way. But people who are neurodivergent, people that come from difficult backgrounds, they'll see that in this book and feel like they can do it. I think that's one of the biggest messages, is just like anyone can do this. If you want it, you can. Here's a story about how you can do it. No matter who you are, what you can do, you just got to want to do it and start doing it.
It's so important because again, I think that it's kind of what we're talking about before with naivete. A lot of people talk themselves out of something rather than just doing it, and at the
Yeah,
same time, like mirroring other people, it's like, well, if they've done it, why can't I do it? And I think that that's so powerful that people can look at someone else, and once you peek behind the curtain, it isn't this magic or this person just was born with massive amounts of skill. It was earned, but it was a trade-off of time and focus, So it's really
that's what it
important.
is. It's time and focus. Having access to computers was important. I did not have access to computers, so that's probably the biggest thing in there. But you can learn how to design games on paper. There's lots of board games out there, and those are really great for introducing mechanics to people and thinking about mechanics. And you know, you can innovate on paper.